Hey y'all, welcome back to Hear What I'm Saying. Now listen, this is not a regular episode, this is a bonus episode, and honestly it felt necessary because something happened that perfectly sums up everything we've been talking about, everything we've been unpacking, and everything we're about to walk into next. So technically, yes, this is the final episode of season 5, but if you're paying attention, this is also your first glimpse into season 6. So let's get into it. Vogue recently did a photo shoot with Tracy Ellis Ross. Absolutely stunning, as always. And instead of calling her hair what it is, an afro, they called it a cloud bob. A cloud bob. And I just sat there like, wait, what? Because now I'm trying to figure out, when did our hair need a rebrand to be seen as beautiful? Or in order for them to feel comfortable and introduce it to their audience, they needed to call it something different. When did something that has always existed suddenly become new because of language? Because let's be very clear, there is nothing new about her hair. There is nothing innovative about that shape. There is nothing groundbreaking about that texture. The only thing that changed was the narrative. That's literally it. And this is where I need y'all to hear me. I need y'all to feel me too. Because this ties directly into something I've said before. Black hair care is not a scam, but the system around it, yeah, that's what we need to talk about. Because how is it that for decades our hair has been labeled as unprofessional, messy, difficult, too much. And now suddenly it's soft, it's editorial, it's luxurious, it's a cloud. Y'all, I cannot. So what changed? Because it was not the hair, okay? The approval, maybe, the audience, the packaging. And see, that's how the system works. They don't always reject you outright. Sometimes they just rename you when they're ready to accept you. Now, my question is, did Tracy Ellis Ross know that they would be referring to her afro textured hair as a cloud? What did I say what it was? A cloud bob? I listen to a lot of podcasts that she's featured on, and I just refuse to believe that. I don't think she did. I just cannot accept that. The only way I will accept that is if she outright came out and said that she did. Other than that, in my head, Tracy did not approve that. I just cannot. I won't believe it. I won't believe it. As a hairstylist, this is where I get a little, not exactly frustrated. There is some frustration there because I know you can sense it in my tone and aura over the mic. I know you can. But more so just aware, because I've seen firsthand how people struggle to accept their natural texture. And I'm referring to my clients and also just Black women sharing their experiences on social media. How, difficult in so many words it is to manage their hair. I've seen how much unlearning has to happen. I've seen how many Black women feel like they have to fix something that was never broken. And then something like this happens. And now the same texture is being elevated in spaces that once rejected it. So now we have to ask, was it ever about the hair? Huh? Or was it always about who was wearing it and who was naming it? I'm not really sure. Because what I don't like about this, okay, let me back up. Let me tell y'all what I've been doing lately. I know a lot about the anatomy and the physiology of hair, but I don't know a lot about Black hair history. So what I did was went on Amazon and purchased some books. One is called Textures, the History and Art of Black Hair. And the other one is called Hair Story. And I did that intentionally so I can learn about our hair history, Black hair history. And when you learn about our history and how it was so deeply rooted and connected to our identity, especially if we take this all the way back to Africa and how these different hairstyles literally communicated non-verbally. It identified what tribe you belonged to, whether you were married. It was social acceptance, you know? Even if you could not grow your hair, because we're not going to sit here and pretend as though our ancestors did not face hair loss. They still worked around that as well. It literally conjoined us together. And it told us who we were without having to speak a word. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of all of what I've been learning about our hair history, but I will in season 6. But when you think about, or if you've read about, or if you have learned about our hair history, you would deeply be offended by this, because here they are once again trying to erase our identity in a very passive aggressive way. And I don't like that. Because let me say this very clearly. We do not need new names to validate what already exists. We do not need rebranding to make our hair make sense. We do not need permission to understand our own texture. We've been doing that. We've been learning that. Also, some of us are having to unlearn some conditioning in order to learn it. And we've also been living it. So no, Black hair is not confusion. This adds to the confusion. This is going to add to the confusion. Our hair is not chaos. It is not a scam. If anything, it is one of the most intentional, educated, and adapted spaces there is. But when a system steps in and only want to validate it once it can rename it, sell it, and soften it for mass consumption, that's where things get distorted. And this right here is exactly why season 6 is necessary, because we're about to go deeper. We're about to talk about texturism. We're about to talk about racism. We're about to talk about how language, perception, and access shape the way our hair is treated, understood, and respected. Because it was never just about curls, coils, or density. It was about identity. It was about proximity. It was about power. And if a simple term like cloud bob, y'all, cloud bob can shift how people view our hair, then imagine what else has been quietly shaping the narrative this whole time. So yeah, this might be the end of season 5, but don't get comfortable, because season 6, we're not just talking about hair. We're talking about the system around it. And trust me, we're going to say what needs to be said. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're locked in. And if this episode made you think, go ahead and share it with somebody who needs to hear it, because the conversation is just getting started, honey. And as always, hear what I'm saying. I am signing out. Thank you for listening to my rant and my TED Talk.